Hey, welcome back, one and all, to a classic six pointer, Premier League classic six pointer, the first Super Sunday of the new year. And whoever is watching, wishing you a very happy new year. And what a mouth-watering clash to start the new year off with. Now, I had actually a guest planned up, and actually a coach who was supposed to join us, but unfortunately, he has not turned up yet, and he's unreachable at this moment. I know big people take a bit of more time to join in as well. So, without further ado, I would like to start this show, this classic six-pointer of a match between Chelsea and Manchester City. Now, before that, just give me a bit of a time. I'll just share this. I'll just share this with the group and stuff so people can join in. Just a sec. Okay, the banners are up. Just a sec. Okay. So, Chelsea versus Manchester City provides to be one of the most important fixtures considering that how important these two teams are. If I just show you the lineup, just a second, just let me bring up the lineup first. Okay, one football, come on. Okay, the lineups are out. I'm just heading over to the one football section to gather up the lineup and कहाँ गया one football? हाँ मिल गया. चलो. So Chelsea go with the 4-3-3, a predicted 4-3-3, where Mendy is the preferred goalkeeper, Chilwell, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma, Azpilicueta. Reece James misses out. Kovacic, Kante, and Mason Mount make the midfield three. A return for Hakim Ziyech would be a wonderful boost to have him at this crucial stage of the season, the magician that he already is. And going with Timo Werner and Pulisic with probably Olivier Giroud on the bench. Now, talking about Manchester City's lineup, they even start with a 4-3-3. The reserve goalkeeper actually plays Zinchenko, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Joao Cancelo, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne in the number 10, Foden playing up on the left wing channel, finishing off with Raheem Sterling. Now, probably this match is a prequel to the Manchester derby that's coming soon. Now, we have all known that how City have manipulated the things with, not manipulated, but taken advantage, taken a slide. We all know how masterful Pep Guardiola is. Man United Herbert says, hey, so I'll just let him bring him on the screen. Hey Herbert, how are you doing? So so this is the lineup for a better look. This is the City lineup where Sterling actually starts, and this is a very crucial point of a game. It's a classic six-pointer. Although City have two games in hand, I'll go to the section of where the table section a bit later. But seeing this lineup, it feels that City are actually have not gone in that strong of a team. I know their squad depth is amazing, and their the substitute and the players that they have on the bench is absolutely world class at times. But suddenly, City against Chelsea, and City do needs point on the board. But is this a lineup? Is this a proper lineup that City can actually contain? And looking back to the Chelsea's lineup again, I'm just so Chelsea are going for pace. We know how vulnerable City are through the channels. United exploited them, Wolves exploited them, and having the likes of a Silva and a Zuma who have been terrific so far, as well as N'Golo Conte, Kovacic, and Mount, Ziyech with the likes of Kai Havertz, Olivier Giroud, Callum Hudson-Odoi off the bench. City can change this game at any point of time. I have heard rumors that Sergio Aguero has been on back. Okay, Herbert says that Giroud is on the bench. So yeah, I don't understand the philosophy of Lampard because Giroud was his bloody go-to guy whenever whenever Chelsea were in trouble, Giroud was actually the one that actually saved saved Frank Lampard's asses. And probably it's a good move starting Giroud on the bench, because City will defend deep, because I have, for the life of me, I've never seen Pep Guardiola playing two defensive midfielders before. And this is probably the first time in this season they have gone on a tactical reshuffle, starting with that Man United 0-0 clusterfuck of a derby. And it's a bit boring. Come on, it's a bit boring. Don't you all agree? And of course, those of you who have joined in right now, a subscribe would be amazing. Just like the video. I know you've already liked the video. A subscribe would be amazing. Road to 300 very soon as possible. So that was the lineup. So if we go back to the classic 6-pointer view of things, I'll just head over to the table once. I'll just bring it up. So here you can see the table. Okay, I'm removing my face. I know it's not that good. Liverpool and United level on points. Both have, United are absolutely amazing, having 4 wins of the last 5. Liverpool 2 wins of the last 3, have had a slump in form. Tottenham has been coming through, although 1 win in the last 5 doesn't seem good. But this PL table, 4 points apart. Leicester, I don't know, the match is still going on. I took the screenshot a while back. Chelsea, it's what surprises me and what worries me at this point of time is that Chelsea, if I just highlight it, Chelsea just have 1 win, in the last 5 matches. And it's very crucial because they were suddenly blowing everyone apart. And I think and I believe that the introduction of Hakim Ziyech can play a part in that. And okay, Leicester is leading 1-0. That means more trouble for us. They will be on 32 points with 17 matches. Liverpool play probably on Monday with Southampton, and that's going to be a cracker of a game. But going back to this classic 6-pointer, Man City have 2 games on hand, have 3 wins and 2 draws in the last 5 games. They've scored a decent amount of goals. Okay, they have not scored a decent amount of goals. United actually have scored more than them. City have 21, United have 33. Okay, City, this is the problem of Manchester City. That the total goals that they have scored and actually very less. They've conceded, they've kept a lot of clean sheets, but City need to, and with that Sterling playing false 9, Kevin De Bruyne popping up here and there, I believe that City need more of an injection on the forward line. I don't know what has happened to Gabriel Jesus. I'm not sure if he's injured. Okay, only positive for Chelsea. They haven't lost at bridge for City for the last 3 seasons. Yep, Herbert, that's a very good point. The lineup that Chelsea have put up, I keep saying United, lineup that Chelsea have put up is far stronger. Now, City actually have 2 matches before the next Premier League game week. That is against United. That will be a tough clash, and against Aston Villa, who have been performing immensely well. It was a tough pain in the ass of getting through Aston Villa against them, and a 2-1 win. I'll take any points at this point of time. I'll take bloody any points. Herbert, you're on for the City game, so be prepared. Just a sec. Okay, so come on. Giroud on the bench and Aguero still not featuring for City, and likes of Sterling, we have seen that if you are promoted with basketball terms, that he's a small forward. Not any bias aside, he's just a small forward. He cannot actually play that kind of a role. Just let me share with someone. Okay, so if I just move on. If I just move on to the next topic, is that how about we speak about KDB? KDB has been, okay, where's the option? Okay, Kevin De Bruyne, for all the glitz and the glamour that he has had throughout his career as a Premier League all-rounder, as like Michael Owen, I was watching one pre-match show where Michael Owen claimed that Kevin De Bruyne, he would select Kevin De Bruyne ahead of Paul Scholes and Frank Lampard. Was just an amazing testament to the fact that how KDB has nurtured as a player in the Premier League. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, with all his assists and his goals and him leading the front, now suddenly there's a Bruno Fernandes, suddenly there's a Hakim Ziyech in the league. And Kevin De Bruyne has been faltering left, right and center. He's very shy with the assists. He's getting his goals via penalties. And it feels like his head is not going into the game. Okay, Herbert says that KDB cross-spamming merchant. Yeah, but KDB, that position that Beckham used to play on that right midfield position, and the balls that KDB whips in, a striker like a Cavani or a prime Ruud van Nistelrooy would have actually hammered them in for like fun. Who wouldn't bloody want a Kevin De Bruyne, a matured Kevin De Bruyne on the team sheet? Now, Kevin De Bruyne, we all know Kevin De Bruyne this, Kevin De Bruyne that, and to some extent, Kevin De Bruyne has been pulling City. They have missed the likes of Aguero very much. David Silva's replacement is still not there. I know the class act that he was, but what allowed City to dominate the midfield was David Silva playing on the left, creating those channels, going often in that overload where wingers were cutting in. They just don't have the same with the likes of Gundogan or the likes of Phil Foden. Now, although Phil Foden is playing on the wide left channel, this one, we don't know because Phil Foden might start as a false nine. Sterling might start over the left. We'll see that rotation as we see with Pep Guardiola's teams. But you just can't help but imagine that this bloody Manchester City team that Pep Guardiola has put on is far, far weaker. Now, those of you who have just joined in will continue to that City match very soon. And a like and a subscribe would be amazing. I'll predict that was the wrong manner. A like and a subscribe would be amazing. Share with your friends. Road to 300 as soon as bloody possible. So going back to the whole KDB kind of a thing. Now, Kevin De Bruyne, he likes to play off that striker in those holes, and what defense has been doing is putting a man with him. Like for a Fred in instance of the Manchester City game, he was everywhere. Now City have an N'Golo Conte, and suddenly with City playing with two defensive midfielders in a Fernandinho and a Rodri and a Gundogan, suddenly KDB has only himself to do the thing. Now, this is the similar thing that happened with United when Paul Pogba was playing that number 10-ish role for Ole before Bruno Fernandes was signed. Now, you put two men on Paul Pogba, he just cannot turn away with the ball. And his teammates are not of that level in that threshold that Kevin De Bruyne thinks and believes. He'll put in crosses, he'll create chances, but where's the finishing? Where's the finishing? Okay, Herbert, I'll take another comment of yours. It says that he looks good in that City team. In Belgium, it's Hazard and Lukaku doing bits. Pogba only in the World Cup semi-final. Now, the less I talk about Paul Pogba is better because we know how amazing Paul Pogba is with the likes of his national team and with the talks of Real Madrid. And he has been playing well. I would throw him on in the Manchester City derby because he has been bloody on form. And someone who can actually... Okay, my phone is down. Pardon me for that. Third world country things, don't love to see it. Okay, so someone who can actually stop him and has actually had goals from the Chelsea backline is this guy, Zuma. And Kurt Zuma, for all his errors, is a menace in the box. I remember the last match he had a shot, he had a header on the bar. He's like a prime Van Dijk when he's on those boxes. But his decision making is that of a Phil Jones. It pains me to say that, but come on, Kurt Zuma has been one of the best defenders in the Premier League this season, coming up with goals in crucial matches, and he's just very, very difficult to contain. And especially with the likes of Thiago Silva against him, guiding him to be that number one center back in that team, guiding him off into where to play in those channels, where to play in those areas, where to cover. And Thiago Silva has been a maestro at that. And where Thiago Silva lacks is his pace, and Zuma covers up for that. And suddenly today, Reece James is missing. I know Azpilicueta playing on the right hand side. It is to ensure a defensive job on Sterling. Now, those of you who have just started watching, we sure want to see Sterling get pocketed or Chelsea come up with a win. I would love a Chelsea win. Make sure to like and subscribe. 300 subscribers. Bhai, maar do yaar. Come on. Support your local lads. Come on. So back to Kurt Zuma. Chances that have been, and suddenly you see Hakim Ziyech picking up those corners, picking up those free kicks on those space and whipping those balls in. Zuma will have a lot more chances than actually that he has had. Okay, I'll take a comment. Okay, those modern CVs can do anything but defend. We have one of our own, Harry Maguire. Now, I'm a Harry Maguire fan. I'll speak about where Harry Maguire has been brilliant in another separate podcast. But sticking with Manchester City and Kurt Zuma over here, Suppose partner Thiago Silva with a Rudiger. You don't have that physicality. Rudiger comes up with those buy-ish challenges that they make, but you don't have the presence in either box that a Kurt Zuma provides. Now, Thiago Silva is good on the ball, good on the aerial abilities. Kurt Zuma, likewise, he had a wonderful season with Stoke, and I know Man United was linked with him at some point of time. Now, suddenly, Kurt Zuma will come into the foil, stepping up into that position. I'm having a bit of technical difficulties. Okay, why Chelsea win? Draw is more favorable for us. No, I want to see Man City is finishing out of the top four. That's why, because Chelsea is suddenly a team that we can compete with. But when Man City fire up with all guns blazing, they just cannot be stopped. They just bloody cannot be stopped. And now, Kurt Zuma, I understand the favoritism. Now, what I was speaking, that Kurt Zuma, you imagine a Thiago Silva partnering a Rudiger. He put those by his challenges, and suddenly there are gaps that the other team can exploit. But Zuma puts in his physicality. A few brain fart moments that he has had has costed games. But Zuma overall is still around 25, 26. He's very good. He's probably getting called up over Dayot Upamecano, who is one of the best young centre backs in the France national squad. Now, his game will only get better. Now, Chelsea have a host of defenders, Malang Sarr, Andres. I don't know why Andres Christensen is not getting a game. Yeah, suddenly he's out there with the lack of pace, but it's very damn to see Andres Christensen not faltering, not getting selected. Now, if I move on to the tactical part, I know this is your favorite segment, the tactical part of the game. Okay, so let me show a slide. This is Man City versus Chelsea in the last game. Okay, Gbogd, I'll take Gbogda's comment. Thanks for joining in. As long as both sides end up with 5 injuries and 3 COVID cases. Oh, from his game, I don't care about the result. Come on, Gbogda, come on. We want to see a good game of football. And Man United agenda aside, I cannot provoke this Man United agenda because this is a neutral show. But we all want that draw. Silently, we all want that draw. So, if I go back to this tactical analysis point of things, now you see, if I just zoom in over here, this is more or less the same City team, the same City foil that has been playing over and over again since the start of since Pep Guardiola joined up. And now Chelsea, what they would like to do is cramp up that midfield. We have seen how United are excellent at that, cramping up that space in midfield, and suddenly City don't know where to pass to. They can have all the bloody possession in the world, but City suddenly find it difficult to breach the opponent through the center line where they are expert at. Now, City have been playing with inverted fullbacks, with underlapping fullbacks, and suddenly Joao Cancelo playing on the right-hand side and Zinchenko playing on the left-hand side. I believe that this match, City is going to outwit Chelsea in that regard, with overlapping fullbacks, 3 close-centered forwards interchanging, where Mahrez, Sterling, and Phil Foden, all 3 can play in all 3 of the position, a winger and a false 9. City will have to take Kevin De Bruyne in that free role, provided a support of a Rodri and a Gundogan supporting them, and suddenly Kevin De Bruyne is suddenly lurking here and there. So if it is any game that City needed Kevin De Bruyne to turn up, it is this game. So back with the tactical analysis of the thing, see where Kevin De Bruyne is on the right hand side as a cross spamming merchant, as Herbert rightly said. Now Chelsea do not go man for man. Always, for all the matches that I have seen, Chelsea actually cut out those passing lanes. Now N'Golo Conte wants Kevin De Bruyne to have the ball, and he doesn't actually charge Kevin De Bruyne unless he makes a few steps. There's a very good reason for this. Bear with me. Suddenly you think that, look at the likes of Bruno Fernandes. He was pressed very hard. He's pressed very hard by two-man defense cover, often a midfielder dropping in, making a 3-man triangle defensive structure upon him. Now, suddenly, if you mark Kevin De Bruyne, he has the technical nuance and the know-abouts and the whereabouts to actually lay that pass off and create a movement which will put 3 players out of position, and he will drop into that space where they have vacated. Now, he will always take a space, pulling 1 player out wide, 1 or 2 players out wide. That helps with those channel balls. Now see, Fernandinho, Chelsea always covers the pass to Kevin De Bruyne, and they play out wide to Kyle Walker or Cancelo, whoever plays in that position. Now, and suddenly Kevin De Bruyne has to come wide. Now, on Chelsea's perspective of things, if you have Kevin De Bruyne out on the right hand side or on the flanks, traveling back, taking the ball on deep, you're in good terms. You're in good terms because, like the Man United versus PSG game where we won 2-1, Neymar was collecting the ball off the left back in that match, or the center back. Now, as a United defender, you would bloody want to see Neymar in his own half. Now, suddenly, if you see there is no chance of City playing a line breaking pass, and Kevin De Bruyne has to drop back step by step by step, and Chelsea will push up because they have that pace to cover Sterling. Foden is not that strong enough. Aspilicueta, old wily old fox, he'll cover. Chilwell has been amazing, and I'm surprised Reece James is not playing. I don't know if someone please guide me. Okay, Leicester go 2 up. Damn, man. Someone please guide me if Reece James is injured or suspended, because this was a very vital match that Reece James needed to play in. He would have had to, and the attacks that, and actually that makes sense because Ziyech will not drop down. He will cause problems on Chelsea's left back slot, on City's left back slot. Keep mixing them up. Come on. And you need a defender to cover those. And the run that Reece James used to make will definitely be missed, but the trickery and the wizardry of Hakim Ziyech would be a treat to watch for any neutral like me. Now, as I said, this is a classic 6-pointer of a match. So, okay, this will define how Chelsea or City go through the game. Now, okay, highlighting it again, you see Kepa, now Chelsea taking on the defensive transition, Chelsea don't clear the ball out. Even with Mendy or with Kepa, Chelsea tried to play that flat back pass that we see, but it's a difference that they stretch out throughout the box. Now see, City will often high press. City will high press. Here you see Mahrez, probably a Sterling. I don't know who this is. Probably an Aguero. I'm not sure. But you see Phil Foden or Sterling playing here. They will go out for that press. And the likes of Conte and the likes of Mason Mount, who are very much press resistant on their days, will have that out ball. Mendy, he's better with, he had that howler, but he's much, much better with his feet than what Kepa is. And suddenly, if you see that a line breaking pass can be stopped by City's front press, if you see that out wide, there are 3 ways. Now, Kepa or Mendy can play it out to the channel and Chilwell can drive, because Kevin De Bruyne will not cover. Kevin De Bruyne has stopped covering those positions. Kevin De Bruyne is out for the loose ball and is always ready for the transition of play. Now, Aguero or Rodri, whoever it is, they often press high and Kevin De Bruyne stays back. Logical question is why, but a very logical answer is because suddenly, if they win the ball back and they'd rather have a Kevin De Bruyne cross spamming or lifting long balls or cutting through the channels, because Chelsea, when they attack, they commit men forward, and there's always a defensive gap through the channels. And tell yourself this, ask yourself this, whom better than Kevin De Bruyne to be on the starting of those long balls and a Sterling or a Mahrez to cut inside to get those overlaps that City are well expertised on. And and why would you even blame him? And suddenly, if Kevin De Bruyne makes up that space, Chelsea have control over their midfield. Now, you might ask me that why has Pep Guardiola stopped going with 2 attacking midfielders that we have seen him go throughout with? It's because that without David Silva, without his expertise in midfield, without his experience, City are nowhere. I know Phil Foden is still young. Gundogan will not fill that role. Bernardo Silva will not fill that role. It will be difficult for them. Now, okay, Leicester go 2 up. Okay, I'm not worried about anyone in the league except Liverpool. We can beat that half-bald fraud and fat Frank Dinosaur or Dinosaur Josie. Come on, Harvard. Easy with the comments. Come on. Now, I'll keep this as a short show. But before that, I want you all who have been watching to live and leave that subscribe. I want to hit that 300 mark as soon as bloody possible. And come on, support your local guys. So if you want to hear the prediction side of things, I want you to come on the comments and tell me your predictions, because this will be a hell of a match. This will be a hell of a match. And for me, the prediction lies with how both teams start the game. The starting of the game will be immensely crucial, because Chelsea will go with their front press and try to cover that midfield where the City are a bit weak, because and the front line of City is questionable with Bernardo Silva out wide, Phil Foden out wide, Sterling as a false nine, questionable. So I believe it would be a 2-2 or a 2-1 victory for Chelsea, because on paper, this Chelsea team is flying. This Chelsea team is flying with pace, with the introduction of Hakim Ziyech as well. But City recently have been defending very well. Their defense is unquestionable. They have got a lot of clean sheets. It's understandable they have not scored as many goals, but they've not even conceded those that much. And considering this is a classic six-pointer, Pep Guardiola will go for it. It is not in Pep Guardiola's nature to stay back, to not attack. Okay, Shomodip, thanks for joining in. Shomodip says City 2-0 Chelsea. I think, Shomodip, we have not seen the City lineup. Their second goalkeeper starts. Aguero doesn't start. Sterling starts as a false nine. Bernardo Silva starts instead of Mahrez, who has been fantastic. Kevin De Bruyne only starts as their focal point, but there's no striker. And Chelsea with Warner, with Hakim Ziyech is back, Pulisic, a midfield of Kovacic, Mount and Conte, Chilwell playing, Thiago Silva and Zuma. It's a very, very strong Chelsea team. Now, with that, I'll have to wrap up my show, because I'm feeling very, very hungry, because this is a new year and this has brought me a lot of opportunities and a lot of hunger as well. To all of you who has just started watching in, a like and a subscribe would be amazing. Road to 300. I'll do a podcast before the Man City and United derby. That would be a very, very good podcast. A lot of tactical things to talk about. And bloody Pep Guardiola has actually not played their best team against Chelsea. And I don't know if he's not focusing on the Premier League or what, and if he's happy with seeing out his contract. To me, this will be a classic six-pointer. No doubt about that. Should be an exciting match. And if there's anyone who has to turn up in this game, it is Kevin De Bruyne. Would be lovely to see Hakim Ziyech and for potential FPL managers to ponder upon the next selection, because he was supposed to be that one to compete with Bruno Fernandes on getting that assist and goals tally. And he started off amazing. But with his injury concerns, he has dropped down a bit. So I still believe this would be a 2-1 victory for Chelsea, or a 2-2 draw if City can dominate the game. And we know how Chelsea, once they give up the ball, they are very difficult in taking back the position. They're not good at all in transition of plays. So let's hope that this is a good match. And so see you soon. So like and subscribe. 300 yaar kar do, jaldi 300 kar do. Would be none of, and this is an endeavor that I've started post lockdown, still lockdown in many places. And I hope that if you're watching from UK, you are safe. And from the new coronavirus outbreak, the vaccines have started coming in. The dry runs have started in my locality, in my local area or district. Hope soon that we can meet somewhere. Those who are watching from Kolkata, that we can meet in a stadium very soon. I can do a live vlog. I would love to do a live vlog. And let's see, thick and fast matches coming up. The FA Cup starting, EFL Cup in the competitions. Europa League should be underway in the last weeks of January or starting of February. I'm not sure. I'll have a check on that. But again, City Chelsea 6-pointer. Let's hope for a good match. With that, ending this. Okay, my phone is down. My phone is back. So with that, ending this show on a high. This was fun. That year, the year 2020 taught me a lot of things, and to not give up was one of them. So I'll continue doing this. On that note, bidding you goodbye for this current match day. Hopefully a good 6-pointer. And this is your boy Neil for Netflix Football. Keep supporting, keep subscribing, keep sharing. And if you want to join in on the podcast, DM me on Twitter. You can find my handle as Podcast with Neil or @Neil__7 to DM me. And if you want to join in that podcast, make sure to let it be known. Comment on this as well and get in touch with me. Bye-bye for now.